Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another Battle to the Death for you. Today we have a cheap versus not so much Battle to the Death and a bit of sibling rivalry. I like doing both of those things together, so the cheap versus not so much ones are always kind of fun. These knives do cost a lot different. You're looking at the Spyderco Insistent for $44 and the Spyderco Lil Native for $126. Both same blade length, both intended to be good little secondary fifth pocket knives, or if you live in a place where you need a blade length under 2.5 inches, like Boston or someplace like that, these work for that. Also, as I said, quite a bit of different in price, but very, very similar in purpose, and the same company. How do these things work? Well, the same as usual with a slight caveat. We do 7 categories as always. We do design and aesthetics, quality, blade, ergonomics, carry, deployment, and value. The little caveat is, in these cheap versus not so much ones, the value is 2 points. All the other categories are 1 point. We add them up at the end, and we pick a winner. So here we go. Let's start off by talking about the individual knives at first. First, we'll start off with the Lil Native. Lil Native is it's been around for a couple of years. It comes in many, many versions. This is the compression lock version, by far the most common. With the S30V steel, your basic $126 version. There have been a lot of sprint runs with a bunch of different steels in them, and there is a backlock version. Those are pretty hard to come by, but they are out there. And also, there's supposed to be a slippy version coming. They keep saying that, but it's not in any of their releases right now, so it's not coming out the first half of this year, which is 2020 when I'm recording this. So we'll see. I hope to see that. I would really like to see this in a slippy, but right now, the compression lock version is by far the most common, and we're using the base version of it. Now, the Insistent, this is a new Spyderco for last year, for 2019. They've revamped their budget line a little bit. $44. This is the 8CR13 MOV version. That's the only version there is. And it comes with G10 scales, pretty full backspacer, wire pocket clip, same as on the Lil Native. And made in China, one of their Chinese budget line knives. This, and the Insistent and the Efficient and some others, I can't remember. They came out with 3 new ones last year. This is the smallest of them. And again, $44. So let's get going. We're going to do some stats and some... don't do size comparisons. I forgot, because this is a Battle to the Death. I don't do the size comparisons on those. So stats, we will start out with the Insistent, since that is what is in front of me. We have an overall length of 6.1 inches. These are all 1-inch squares, by the way. Blade length of 2.48 inches. Blade thickness, just a hair under 0.12 inches. We have a handle thickness of 0.48 inches and a weight of 3.7 ounces. So a bit heavy for a knife this size. And now we have, excuse me, the Lil Native. Overall length, slightly shorter at 5.95 inches. Blade thickness, just a hair over 0.12 inches. And a handle thickness of 0.44 inches and a weight of just 2.4 ounces. So significantly lighter knife. Now, let's get into our scoreable categories here. Design and aesthetics. This is always the most subjective, so feel free to disagree with me on this. You can feel free to disagree on anything, but this one is close because they are very sort of similarly shaped. The Insistent does not want to lay right where the lighting is going to be good. They are fairly similarly shaped, but I don't know. I kind of like the more rounded edges on the Insistent. And for that very slight reason, I'm going to give the win to the Insistent. I just like those kind of rounded edges. And it looks more like I don't know, they both look kind of old school Spyderco, but even the Insistent, just that little bit more. I will say, if you think there's excessive billboarding on this more as compared to the Lil Native, that's just a collector's mark. I got the second hand, so collector's club mark. That normally would not be there on one you just buy off the shelf. But I think they're both pretty nice looking knives if you like that Spyderco aesthetic. If you don't, you're not going to like them. But that kind of goes without saying, because Spyderco is, if not consistent with their overall look. But I don't know. I just kind of like the swoopies a little bit on this more. I will say that doesn't apply to some of the sprint runs on the Lil Native. They do have some really cool color combinations and stuff on sprint runs. But we're going by the one that we have, and black to black, I prefer the Insistent. Quality. Both Spydercos, one's Chinese, one's Golden Colorado. Normally you would think I'm going to say the Golden Colorado one is better. But I had to tune this a little bit when I got it. And I had to tune this a little bit when I got it, but they're both, perfectly centered, all that stuff. None of the major things you're worried about. Everything's all fine there. I'm going to call it a tie because I tuned them up both a little bit just to get the action a little better. None of them had any like real major things, but both of them, I wanted to play with the action a little bit on them. I wasn't quite satisfied with either of them out of the box. They're both okay, but I knew I could make them better, so I tore them both down immediately. So got to call it a tie on that one. Blade thickness, pretty similar. The Insistent's marginally thinner. Both exact same thickness behind the edge, 21 thousandths behind the edge on both of them. Pretty common Spyderco thickness behind the edge. There's a lot of theirs that are in that, 18, 19, 20, 21 thousandths behind the edge. Both were pretty sharp out of the box, both pretty good slicers. But, at the end of the day, you're looking at 8CR13 versus S30V. Got to give the blade to the more expensive knife. S30V is just an infinitely better steel. I don't hate Spyderco's 8CR any more than I hate anybody else's want 8CR steel. But yeah, it's S30V. It's just it's pretty simple to choose. There's about the same tips and everything. Other than that, they're all pretty even except the blade steel. And yeah, gotta go with the Lil Native on that. So Ergonomics. This one was not actually very close. The Lil Native is great ergonomically. I do really like it. I'll talk more about that at the end. It is a great ergonomic knife for being so small. Both of these are meant to be held, using these little half choils. Both have half choils on them. It's good. It's very good. But the Insistent is just awesome. It's so good ergonomically for a small knife. One of the best sub 2.5-inch knives I've ever carried. It's ergonomically, it's just really, really excellent. It really fills your really fills your hand. Like I said, the way that that nice swoopy, swoopy handle really, really fills my hand excellently. It's just so good ergonomically. So pretty clear win ergonomically for the Insistent. Even though the Lil Native's great, this is just greater. Carry. Also not very close. Lil Native. I mean, it's not nearly as tall in the pocket. We'll put it in the pocket here in just a moment, but so you can see that. But it's smaller. It's a full ounce lighter. This is a really kind of a tank for as small as it is. Yeah, easy win for Lil Native. But both are great. Kind of fifth pockety knives. We'll put them in both. But this is the Insistent in your normal pocket and in your fifth pocket. It's really hard to get these when they're not on your body. Yeah, this one doesn't want to sit all the way in the fifth pocket on these pants, but it does in the ones that I'm wearing right now, in my 501s, but in these it doesn't. I'm not even sure if the Lil Native's going to in this one, but you can see they both slide in and out pretty easy. Bit grippier on the G10 on the Lil Native, so it might be a bit more effort to slide it in and out, but not dramatically so. Yeah, this barely even sits in there. I need to switch my jeans up. Something's got a more normal size fifth pocket because both of these fit in the fifth pocket perfectly well on most pants. But easy win for the Lil Native. Deployment, also pretty easy win for the Lil Native. Both of these, I will say, the size they are, due to the typical Spidey flick stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to do it in a minute and embarrass myself. Keep in mind I have a camera mount next to me. But you have a liner lock, compression lock, so much more fun to play with. And that's part of the reason why I really like the Lil Native. I like having a little compression lock knife in that fifth pocket because if I want something to fiddle with, they're a lot of fun to fidget with. They're really good fidget knives. This is an excellent fidget knife. It's really good. This is fine for a liner lock, but there's nothing really special about it. So if I'm carrying, something like a big back lock or something for my main knife that's not fun to fidgety with, having a Lil Native in your pocket for a little fidget toy is a really nice thing to have. You can Spidey flick them and all that stuff on both of them, but we'll see. Yeah, see, it's really hard me. Got a thing next to you. There we go. You have to give it a little bit more wrist on the Insistent. But, the Insistent doesn't do this. It doesn't do all the fun stuff. It's a little easier to Spidey flick. Yeah, it doesn't do all the fun little things. You can't, you know, you can't flick it out, all that stuff. Yeah, it's fun to have a little fidgety thing in your pocket, especially as your secondary knife. So deployment definitely goes to the Lil Native. Value. This one is tough because neither of them are particularly good values. 4410 for HCR and a liner lock and G10. You know, you can do a lot of really nice knives for 44 bucks. You know, liner locks with better steel, and even a lot of options in this size range. The Lil Native is 126 bucks, S30V G10. If it was, you know, a PM2 or a Manix 2, the Manix, I guess, better analogy to the Manix 2. Manix 2 doesn't cost much more than that, $4 or $5, and it's a much bigger knife. Again, if you're in a legality situation, you know, and you want a Spyderco, that's the one you're going to want anyway. But yeah, it's not a particularly great value. Neither of them are really good. So this is kind of an anticlimactic tie, and it's not a tie because they're both so awesome I couldn't decide. It's a tie because they're both just not really that good of value. So where does that leave us? We have a score of 3-2 with 2 ties, winner being the Lil Native. If you have the means, I would spend the money on the Lil Native. Now, when I reviewed the Insistent, I said it was better than the sum of its parts. I do still stand by that. I do feel that way. It is not a bad knife at all. But 4410, it's pushing the boundaries price-wise, but it's a good little knife. It's a nice looking knife. It works in that 5th pocket, extremely comfortable to handle. It's just the materials aren't quite up to snuff anymore for that kind of price. There's also another option sitting out there in the Spyderco universe before anybody mentions it. Maybe you want to go somewhere between in price, looking at what, 65, 70 bucks for a Dragonfly, which is also maybe not that great a value either, but this is the Warncliffe version. But, you know, about the same size, maybe even just a little bit smaller. That's also an option. And there's a million different versions of the Dragonfly. Don't even get me started. But I guess what I would do if you were looking for a complete, just total bang for the buck, you get a Lil Native in one of the sprint runs, and because they come out with some amazing steals on those, you get Rex 45, all kinds of stuff. So I prefer just having the standard one because I'm a reviewer and I like having the standard one around. But yeah, Lil Native is the winner. And put my money where my mouth is on this. I used to have a Lil Native. I sold it. This is my new one. I missed it so much, I went and bought another one. So definitely money where my mouth is on this one. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.